that, in terms of the literature, that was very much focused on particularly feminist literature, on citizenship. And then also, obviously I read a lot of, or tried to read as much of the ethnographic material that is available on civil society sector in Central Asia. And so that was kind of where I was coming from when I first arrived. But I agree. I have to find some way of kind of inserting this into some kind of theoretical framework. And
well, it's getting there. You're gonna get there. Don't worry about it.
No, but it's. I think. No, you kind of put me on the spot. I think because I've sort of been so.
Well, that's just the base.
Yeah, I've been so sort of caught up in the field in doing this research here that I haven't really had a chance yet to sort of step back and.
Well, maybe that's the time now to step back and think.
Yeah.
What is it I'm going to contribute to? Because you have a whole set of new interviews you want to go and do, and it's so easy to do that. Yeah. It's so easy to collect data, and I'm myself collecting lots of data, and sometimes I have to sit down and think, why am I doing all this crap, you know? I'm not saying your thing is crap, I'm talking about myself now. But why am I doing all this shit now, you know? I gotta think and say, where am I going theoretically? So I take a piece of paper, I have a tea, and then I'm just thinking, okay, I did this. Was that really important? Or what was important in there? And then move forward to, you know, my little experience. That would be my advice to you. I didn't want to put you on the spot. No, but that's really, I would think, well, just, I would advise you to think about your research. Yes, it's important to have interviews and do ground. I do that kind of work too, but at the same time you always want to step back and think about the theory.
I just know a little bit the background of her research, and what I understand this is that Joanna is having a first and a very good experience working with the Kyrgyz NGOs here, the women NGOs here, and she's having a real interaction with them, out of which I'm sure she will have better feeling than if she would do this work sitting in London without interacting and facing them and talking to them. And on the collected data, though you said that you only had 10 interviews, but these 10 interviews I'm sure will give some insight, and when you go back and you will definitely find something.
Pilot work to frame your and that rich experiences. And it's not everybody who can do it. And just to be here, you have to be flexible. You have to, to change your topic. You've changed it because you've realized, oh my God, and that requires a lot of flexibility.
I think there are at least 3 or 4 themes which have already are emerging, and you can see it in the names of the slides, like the motivations and the ways that these NGOs collaborate with other NGOs and the ways that they collaborate with the government, etc. These can be the themes for developing them into more founded sort of theoretical concepts and findings. But my question is like, if you place it, this discussion in the slightly broader context of Central Asia, and you talk about the NGOs in Kyrgyzstan, right? The women NGOs in Kyrgyzstan, right? And knowing that you're an anthropologist, not really, but anyways.
Well, I'm sort of halfway between. I don't really know.
Right.
I'm in development studies.
Right. Anyways,
I don't have a discipline.
Right. I was wondering, like, if you could compare the work of the women NGOs in Kyrgyzstan, for example, with the work of women NGOs in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, and to see, like, to what degree this local context is unique. Right? The NGO sector is unique, and what is the role of culture and traditions and politics as well. Like one of my students is writing her senior thesis on the women NGOs working on domestic violence in Uzbekistan. And the main thesis that she proposed is that this cultural, the traditional culture, the Uzbek culture, where the man is seen as, you know, a main person in the family, influences both the practices of local communities and also significantly affects the policies of the politics of the government, right? And therefore, this sort of cultural conservatism is the main obstacle to the introduction of all these programs, advocacy programs, and for addressing the domestic violence issue. And well, my other student is doing research on this new sort of career women and business women and the changing gender roles in Kyrgyzstan, right? And she proposed that it is because of the cultural context, right? Because the women were traditionally, in the nomadic societies, women were traditionally more active and sort of independent, economically, socially, and politically, you know, and had much more voice within the family, within the tribe, etc. That's why in Kyrgyzstan, like the gender roles are changing at much faster pace than in our neighbor countries. Right? So, and I was wondering if you could place this discussion in this Central Asian context and see to what degree, you know, and the NGO sector is unique here, you know, in Kyrgyzstan, because we have favorable political climate, more or less stable, you know, economic, not really the political space, you know. This is where the organizations can come easily and do their work, right? And nobody really makes obstacles to them, like in Uzbekistan, right? Yeah. So whether this politics and whether the cultural context, whether the you know, what other aspects of local culture and politics, etc., make this work of women NGOs either more effective or less effective, and in what way makes them, you know, sort of unique.
I think that would be something very interesting to look at for my postdoctoral work. I think quite apart from anything, my PhD supervisor would kill me if I came back from field work and said, "Oh, and now I'm going off to Tajikistan for 6 months." But no, I mean, sort of being serious. I think that would be very interesting to look at why the women's NGO sector has developed the way it has here, and compare that with the way things are in Uzbekistan, and in particular, I think it would be very interesting. So yeah, I think that might be something for a future project. Yeah.
Tell me about analytical framework that you're working.
Yeah, we've just established that I don't really have one at the moment. I had one when I arrived, but then my research project has changed quite a lot, and I think that's really what I have to go away and do now, is to sort of work out how what I'm doing now, the information that I'm gathering, how that fits into.
And I was wondering, how do you treat those interviews? Do you take them as for the truth? Or do you, what's the attitude? How do you work with this data?